Okay guys, so today I will show you um how we are going to build and architect our application. Okay, the application I'm talking about is iAgenda. This is what is the uh, client gave to us, and we are going to create the first UI and its components on using this um, first template application. Okay, so I will show you how we are going to start. So in here we have our features. So basically a feature is nothing but a set of classes that basically are the components, base components of creating of the UI, right? So in this case we have the initial page, which if I run I will show you now. But basically mainly the initial page is composed by uh, the base widget, which is something like a stateful. We are not standing in a stateful widget right now. We are standing the base widget. This is a library that I have created, and it gives us a lot of advantages to maintain clean code and give us the possibility to build a new UI and new components very quickly and easily. And also here we have the block, which is still part of the same library, and I will explain you in this video how we are going to create a new set of components like this in a new folder. And let me show you first what is the event. The event is basically a set of classes that are sent from the page to the block, and then we have here the state. State is again another set of classes. This in this case is only one, but the state is basically containing a set of classes that sends the events from the block to the page, right? So if I show you this first page, this is a template application that I have created where I can reuse, or whoever has access to this code base can reuse to build an application from scratch, with the difference that they will have some core elements, they will have some dependency injection components that allow them to create uh, to make the development of the application much faster. Okay, I'll go into the detail later and explain what are each of these components doing, and but before doing that, I will show you uh, how we're going to build the UI and or with its own components. So enough talk. Let's go into the and build a widget. So as you see here, you have initial. I'll go and create now a file which will be in a folder, and I will call it login. Okay, so I can say this is going to be login widget page, calling page. So you might want to be very careful here and see what I'm doing, because this is how I will build the UI. First of all, I want to make my code style length to 110. So currently I have a 90. No, Dart is 80. I want to put it 110. Apply. And I think what it's doing is taking some time. Okay, so now I have this code line a bit longer. I can write more code in the same line. So if I go and say stateful, right, it the framework will just give me a class, and I think many of you knows how to do that. And I will say the same thing as here, login page. And what I like to do is to always keep the file name in lowercase and be separated with a hyphen, and this always a camel case. So I'll give the name login page, and then I will import this here. And what I want to do now, once I have this, I want to create, I want to extend my base widget. So I'll just say base widget. I have the base widget here. Now I will delete my constructor. I will set this one to base state. Here I will need to put my base block. Okay, and we are almost done. I just need to import this, and here I want to have the constructor created, so I will do this to create a constructor. I will explain you later how does this work. For the moment, as we are here, I want you to show how we build the block. So same, here I'll create a Dart file, and I will call it like login block. Okay, and here I'll say class login block, and then we will extend the template block. Okay, this is in the library and has a lot of good stuff inside. Of course, we keep all the basic stuff. We don't want specific details that will just mess up in the future. So this method is kind of important, is very important. So what happens here, whatever we are getting from the UI, any type of event, we will expect it here. So here is where we are getting the event from the UI. And in order to show you how we are going to build this, I want to launch this screen first. So what I will do here, I'll just go into my initial page. So we have the app. This guy here decides the first screen. So as soon as it starts, the app decides the first screen. And currently we are launching the, avoid this, we are launching the get root page, and we want to change it to get login page for the moment. For now it will be like this, and here we want to call our class, and it's gonna be login page. And one thing that you saw probably is that the login page wants a block, right? So login block, okay. So this will be the block passed in here. The thing is that I don't want, and I don't like to create the objects directly wherever I use them. I have made for this project something called the dependency injection, right? So with the use of a module that I have already here, I will get this block. So I'll say block dot get, I'll just call it login block, right? So now I'll call this, I need to create a method here, and what I will do, because I have already a block inside here, I will just copy and make it a new line, and I'll just give the name, give the type, and as well here login block. Login block. The login by default wants analytics, and here we have something that we don't need, and this is what we have now, right? So if we go back here, you can see that we can pass the login block to our login page, and this is going to be used by our let's say logic. ABR stands for application business rules, so this will basically decide what is the first page that needs to be launched and to be given. This is when the app starts. Okay, so let's see what is the dependency here. We don't need this one anymore. So once done that, I think we are good to go and we can launch and see what's happening on the screen. Right. So as you probably will already expect, we have a black screen because in the login page we don't have anything more than just a container. So we will want to wrap this with a widget, which is gonna be a scaffold, and the thing here is body, right? So if I run, I will have this screen, which is basically the default color of our application. Now is black. Everything here is gonna be, if we want to change the colors, we never do this. Like we never say body background color and say colors dot white. We don't want to do this, because if tomorrow we want to have a default color and we want to change it through all the application, we will need to go individual screen and change it. And there is a better way to do that, which still is part of this application. If we go here in theme and see in the base theme, we have something called background color, which is for you can see here it's black, almost black. So this is the background color here. You can say that is depending on what theme we have. Depending on the theme we have, we will show the correct colors. So in this case, we have two different themes, dark and light. I don't want to show you too much about this one now because otherwise you'll get too confused. But later on the other videos will show you how we can do the colors changing in the theme. So for the moment, let's go forward and see when I build this application. Here I want to have at the bottom of the screen, so let's put a column and then a children. I'm going to have a button, so let's call it have a button, raised button. We used to have raised button, but the new one was let's go with raised button, right? Raised button. We have a pressed, and let's see here. They are replacing this elevated button. That's what I was looking for. So we can have an elevated button. It wants some child, and we can give it text. So say login. We'll keep it this way because we also have another functionality here. I will show you. It's like translate. This is part of this package, this template app, which basically translates whatever we have here in to the right language. Of course, we need to give the right name in the files where we translate that, but for the moment we can focus only on this. So if I run this, we will see here a button is just at the bottom. it says login not found because for the fact that we didn't give the translation yet. So if I can go in assets and I go English and I say create a new line here, say login. Now I can use this. Same for Italian translation. It's gonna be like this, and here let's keep it the same for the moment. I don't want to translate it now. So if you see, if I run from the beginning, we will change this to login, and let's solve this problem. So one thing that I like to do is whenever I am wrapping multiple widgets just to create one widget, I just want to do this. Use Command Alt M, and I can extract the method. So what I will do is say this is login button, right? So right now this becomes more clear for me to understand that in this column I have a button, right? And here I can wrap it in different widgets, which in this case will be a row where I will give main axis alignment to main axis center, so I can have the button in the center. You can see here, and you still see that it's in right below this line, which is basically a iOS system line that used to close the application or just to move in outside of the app. So in order to remove that, we can just do either a padding or we can use a safe area. So we'll have straight away some difference, you can see. But I also want to give some padding as well. So I will say padding, and this is going to be a default of 8. We can check again. Right, so let's see how does this work. Let's give some kind of functionality. We will have our page communicating to the block, but how does this work, right? Because we don't want to create like many people do, like Firebase, get data, or login from here. We don't want to have anything here like that. We just want to tell the second layer, which in this case is going to be our state management and will be the block, that something happened on the screen, right? So what will I do is say block.event, and I say add, because this is going to be an event, and I want to create this class with the event that has happened, right? So in this case it will be like login event, click event. Okay, so we don't have this class yet, so what I will do, I'll create another file here, still a Dart class, and I will say, I'll call it the same as it is here, login, instead of block, instead of page, I'll say login event, okay. So once I have this here, I can create my classes here. I have a fast way to do that, you can see. This is my fast way to do that, right? So this is basically creating a class which extends the base block event, and I will show you how to create this template so you can do it fast in this quick way as well. But right now I'll show it like manually how we do it. So I said we have that class, we give it the name of login click event, we extend something called base block event, okay. So once we have this base block event, this class will complain about something, we go there, we import whatever he wants. It will be it will just be saying that it wants an analytic event, which then will be passed to the super class, which then will log the analytics. So this is doing a lot of stuff for us. In our case, we don't need the analytics yet. but in almost all the applications that you are going to publish on your Play Store, you want to have something that keeps track of what is the user doing, right? So in this case we have the analytics, and if we go back here we just need to import whatever we have created there, and here we need to pass the actual analytics that we want to log. So let's say on user click, user login click, and say login click event. So in the future this is gonna be logged automatically to our analytics, can be Firebase or Mixpanel or any other analytics tool. So what happens now? Now I send this event to the block, right? In here, we'll expect it here. So in order to know what type of event has been coming from the page, we will have an if statement. I really hate the creating too many if statements. I prefer always to use the polymorphism, but this is one of the cases that we need to use that. Otherwise, we need to use everything. We need to write everything in the base block event, which is not the way it works. The block pattern. So I would say if event is the event that we have created, imported here. We want to do something, right? So to keep it clean, I will say I'll create another method. I can do it this way. So flutter toast dot show toast user click on login. Okay. So I don't want to have the implementation on this one. I just want to, in this method, I only want to have the checks of what type of event is that, and then delegates to the methods that needs to perform the action. So I will extract this method, say on login click, and once we are here, we are good to go and test this part. So if I run, and if I click here, you can have a nice toast that comes to the UI, right? So this is a part of it. We explain now how the page was communicating with the block, right? So how the events was passing from one part to another. You see, you don't really need to know how the streams are going and happening from the page to the block, because this is already done here inside of this class, and you don't need to worry about that. But let's actually now update the UI, right? We want to show something when the user clicks on that button, right? So in order to update the UI, we need to have a stream here, a stream controller. So create a stream controller, and I will say this is for now. I want to say probably we will not need it in the login page, but I want to still show you something. So I'll say text data state, okay, equal to stream controller, and we want to give it a type. It's gonna be text data. Okay, so I said same as the event, we want to have a state class or file of states that contains this type of classes, right? So let's go here and say Dart and say login state. We'll call it this way. And same class, the state extends, still extends, not the same as the event, it extends something else. And be careful of that. Say base block data state. This is the one. And here we want to import the package, and we will want to send here some kind of data to the UI. So in this case it would be like final string and my data, and this needs to be coming from the constructor. And when I will pass this into the stream, that I will explain you quickly now, you will see uh, that that you were using that. So you see there is a warning there saying that the field is unused, and that's one, and also it wants to be closed. So we have something here called dispose, and whenever we create a stream, we always want to dispose it, and we will dispose it in this method. So we'll say text.state.close, and here we're closing. And as we've seen, the warning has disappeared. One thing that we want to do once we create that, other than dispose it, we want to register it. So there is another thing, a method that we call on the superclass, that we use to register our streams. So I'll say register, and make sure this is an array, and you pass this, and then you say that is the stream that you want to register. Okay, so what this basically is doing, it is registering the stream, and this stream are going to be listed here by our UI. And for doing that, I will show you the difference now. I remove that, I will have the button on top. I want to create the same, I want to create a widget which basically will will display our data that we send from the blog when we click the button. And let's build this widget. So let's say widget, always in a different method, and we'll say text. Okay, this is a simple dummy data that I can show you, and so don't pay attention too much about how I call these names of the methods, just for the explanation and showing you how we use these methods now. So we're going to return a widget here. So let's start with a text, right? For the moment we'll have something that we can display, and saying hello. If I run this, nothing will happen because we're not calling this method. If I put this method here, if I run it, it will be somewhere on the top. So it's somewhere on the top here. So what we want to do is to put everything in the center, main alignment, center, and here is how we are showing everything in the center, right? So now we have hello. Okay, so we're good to go, right? So what we want to do here, we want to listen to the block, right? So we'll say we use the stream builder. This is very common in Flutter, to listen to our block, right? So here we'll say block dot, and we want to listen to that specific data state that we have set in the block. So set get stream of type, and the type of that we want to listen, it is going to be this. We are going here and we take this type, we go back here, and then we put the type, and then we import it. And now, always when you create this type of stream builders and future builders, make sure you use the types async snapshot, and you give the type here as well. This is the same type here, and here we want to have a build text context. Okay, so we want to do a check. In this case, sometimes you will may be using a loader, but in this case we will want to use a symbol container to show that with the snapshot dot data is equal to null, we want to return just a container, right? Nothing too special. In the other case, we will use the snapshot dot data dot, and you have my data. Remember, my data was created here by us in this class, which is the data state, and this is nullable because because of this guy. This guy here can be nullable. So I will avoid all the time, as how each time that is possible, this type of things, because in case it comes null, right, we can crash the app. In this case, we have used this check, and we can do it this way as well. So we remove it. We will still return a text widget, but we do a check here. If it's null, we just return empty. Okay, so we can do this way. So right now we'll have an empty text. Right, so this is the problem, because when we do some changes here, we need to rerun from the beginning. Here we go, and we have an empty text. So we want that when we click on this button, we want to display some data here, right? So we'll do this way. We go into the block. When the login click is clicked, right, the button is clicked. Right now we have a toast. We want to send an event to this stream here, stream controller. So we'll remove this, say stream controller dot add, and we want to pass this type of data states, because it's only the things that it's accepting. And I will create a class there called the constructor, and I want to pass the data that I want to pass. So say, hey, this is the data. Okay, so if I run now, as you see, if I click here, boom, we have the data passed into the UI, you see. And thanks to all of that, we can keep our state inside our block, and we can write also some logic here, you know, whatever logic we want to write in this part, and we will keep this widget outside of any type of knowledge. Will be just dump, and I will not know anything than just know how to send an event to the block, right? In the future videos, I will show you how we are going to implement the different layers, the other layers than the presentation layer, because now we are in the widget and in the block. So this is taking care about the state, but we will go deeper into the use case, and then repository, and then the DAO, the data access object, which we already have an example here. So you have here an example. We have some use case. It's just an example where we can use to get some data. At the same time, we set some data, and we are creating a request object to do all of that. And if there is an error, we are managing it with the sync state. We show the error, and this is kind of a lot of reusable code that we can reuse and create a very fast application. By creating your code in such a way that you can reuse it, you speed up your development by a lot. So guys, the difference between an experienced developer and a beginner developer is only about that. It's like knowing how to create your objects, then to be then able to reuse in the future, and not building the same stuff again and again, you know. So when you, a quick suggestion for you guys, if you're a beginner, instead of when you feel yourself in being in the position that you want to copy one method, okay, copy and then go in another class, right, and just paste it there because it was easy and fast to do that, don't do it, because it is duplication, and duplication is bad. Instead, what we need to do is to create a class, put that code in the class, and then reuse the class. And that way, your development of the application will be increasing by, I don't know how many times, depending how much you reuse your code, but it's gonna be surely an advantage. Okay, so for today I think it is all. We will then I will then assign you guys, for whoever wants to work on this project, some of the UI that our client gave it to us, and we will continue from there. Okay, from now, if you have any questions, just ask me in the group. And if you are new to this channel, um, we are building an application using a real way of doing it. Like, we have our client, we have our developers, and we also have a designer, and I am the guy that is managing the project. So we will get some kind of a real example of how a project is managed, and how it is built, right? So if you want to join, just please comment in the video. I will send you the link